Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Date today is the 27th of October, year of our Lord 2025. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Eagle, a.k.a. Motanua. I don't know about you at home, folks, but after a little under a week, maybe like 5 days of the NBA being back, there are two things that are simultaneously happening in my brain. The first one, believe it or not, if you're a regular listener of the show, I have not, I've not been so subtle and being like, I think this league kind of sucks. I just don't, But despite that, I like this season. It's been fun so far. You talk about individual performances, teams as a whole, like mainly the Pistons in that regard. Mainly the Pistons. As I'm going to fix my hair up here. Mainly the Pistons. Talk a little bit about the Celtics today. I got some stuff on them. The Jaylen Brown, I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. But the Jaylen Brown experience so far, I saw the clip of his hair. All right? I saw it. Okay? I saw Jaylen Brown like a damn goat ram his head into OG Anunoby, and something rubbed off directly onto OG's jersey. And they're saying it was Jaylen Brown's hair. They're saying it was paint. Like Carlos Boozer. Now, here's the thing. I think there are a couple things here that are happening that are weird. One, I'm taping this 48 hours after that game happened, which means it's been 24 hours that like the media cycle has picked up on this. People are making jokes about it. Has nobody said anything about this? Has nobody said? I haven't seen a quote from Jaylen Brown. I haven't seen anything from OG Anunoby. I haven't seen anything. So maybe it's happened. And if it has, feel free to keep the listeners of this show and the host informed down in the comment section. What did I miss? Nobody had anything to say about this. Okay. So that's happening while also be acknowledging how funny it is. But you want a moment of authenticity here at the Coping Hour? I don't know. I always thought first of all, I thought his hairline was fine. He's Jaylen Brown. You're greasing these wheels. Okay. All right. That's fine to me. Whatever you got to do. Listen, as somebody who is also insecure about their hair and the hair loss specifically, I was supposed to go in for a second round of microneedling, as a matter of fact. Funny this is even happening. The same day that this happened to Jaylen Brown. That his hair was wiped off onto OG Anunoby's jersey. That same afternoon, I was supposed to go in for a second round of microneedling. It just didn't, the scheduling just didn't work. I just didn't get to do it. So I'll have to do that pretty soon, right? How are the results after my first round? At this point, it's a little over a month ago. Marginal, I would say. All of the places they did it are still either completely bald or not completely bald, but like on my hairline specifically, well, that's still receded. That's still widow's peaked to fuck. And then on like the bald spot I have, I'm like, there's maybe results that I would expect after like the first round of doing this. If this was like the fourth round, I'd be kind of pissed off. The first round, I guess, I kind of stopped taking biotin. I kind of gave up on that. This is really wordy. I'm just saying, like, hey man, you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do when it comes to your hair as a man and as a woman. Hair loss as a woman is actually, it's a completely different thing. Completely different thing. Woman goes through menopause, all her hair falls out. That sucks for her. That really stinks for her. We just that's sort of something that we only focus on. I'm not trying to make every fucking thing about like, well, it's hard for women too. Yeah, it's hard for everybody when your fucking hair is falling out of your head. All right. And I am actually just kind of somebody who's just like, yeah, man, do whatever you got to do. Because it stinks when it fucking happens. It stinks when it starts to happen. It really does. Right. So for some reason, especially Jaylen Brown, a guy that I would otherwise just, I'd really sink my teeth into a story like this because it's so funny. It's so funny. And for it to just like narratively, for it to be the first thing that sort of kicks off the NBA season, it's not. You can't even, I was going to say, well, what if you're just talking about on the court? Yeah, it's also not. Because if it's the grand narrative of the season to start, it's this whole FBI investigation, right? And this gambling probe that has been launched. Well, actually, it was launched a while ago, but, now that the layers are starting to become unearthed, it's definitely that. Well, if it's on the floor, the story so far was, oh my God, Victor Wembanyama, right? Especially after that first game that he played against Dallas. But what's even crazier, the day that I'm taping this, the Spurs played their third game. Was it against Brooklyn, maybe? I don't know that. Well, it doesn't matter who it was. The Spurs won, right? They're 3-0. It took until halfway through the third game of the season for Victor Wembanyama to commit his first turnover. Huh? Huh? So like there's been that. And then like I guess there's also been, so I don't know. Now there's this Jaylen Brown. Oh, is he? I just don't think I just don't want people to forget that this happened because it is very, very funny. I just don't really have anything funny to say about it, right? This has all been so wordy. Having so much fun watching the NBA, right? There's been so much fun that's been going on. But I got to tell you something, man. I started this talking about I've watching the NBA. I'm thinking about two different things. I don't even remember what the second thing was or if I had already said it. I don't even remember. I'm just going to go right to the second thing. Just go right into the Pistons, man, because it's only been 3 games and it's impossible to do the segment I'm about to do and to talk about them the way I'm about to talk about them and not sound like it's a whole prisoner of the moment thing. I'm really detached from I just want to say this up front. I'm really detached from where we are no, that's not how I say this. I am very attached to where we are in the season and the whole let's just figure out what we got going on thing. And then, once we figure out what the major whole is, that's when the big trade comes around, the hashtag big trade, which I believe is going to happen this season. Maybe I should start there. Let's do that. I'm actually not sure about that. I was thinking about it today. We have been on this program. We speak very favorably of the Pistons. We love them. This is a Pistons hat and a Pistons shirt, by the way. I'm wearing a Pistons hat and a Pistons shirt right now. Could not tell you the last time that I did both at the same time. I love this team. I rep this team. I will always watch this team. I will always, for better or for worse, talk about this team. But me, a hat and a shirt, and I'm not even at the fucking game. You know what I mean? I wasn't even wearing this watching the game. I just put this on just for the show, right? I love this team. I speak very favorably and highly of them. But I also think that we are a guy away. I think that there just needs to be one more guy, okay? I've laid this out a myriad of times over the last month and a half. Well, basically the entire summer, the entire offseason, this was the only thing that I would talk about. Even in the last episode when I was like, hey, the Pistons are back, I talked about this exact thing. I am going to fucking do it again, by the way. I'm going to package it a little bit differently, though, right? Because I'm looking at it a little bit differently. Never, ever in the last 10 years. Not 10 years, can't do that. Since the Troy Weaver regime started and this rebuild really started to kick off, right? When the restoration was underway, under Troy Weaver's watch. There hasn't really ever been a time where the Pistons have had a moment to go get somebody in free agency or to make a big trade either in the middle of the season or in the middle of the summer. And they actually did it. It doesn't fucking happen. It hasn't happened. Because which isn't a bad thing. One of the reasons it didn't happen in the past was because the Pistons didn't have the flexibility to move any first round picks at all, right? For 5 years, the Pistons were not able to send out a first round pick because of one that they owed that had to be conveyed, and then it didn't, and then it had to be conveyed, and then it didn't, and it had to be conveyed year after year after year after year until this last season when they finally made the playoffs and the pick had bounced around to 2 different other fucking teams. The Pistons made the playoffs. The pick finally conveyed. They didn't have one this year, but that allowed them to actually attach them in trades in the future. So that's one of the reasons why the Pistons never went out and got a big fish, because they kind of couldn't. They didn't really have the ammo to do it. So I can't really blame them for that. But we also kind of kept getting this can kicked down the road in free agency of next summer, is that they're saving all this cap space for next summer. But even that was loosely, it wasn't even free agency. You can't also be that mad about that, I guess, because that's not really where shit happens in the NBA anymore. These guys don't really, the real players don't really get to free agency anymore. They wait out these contracts and then they sign a 5-year max or a super max, and then they'll wait to be 2 years into a 6-year max extension, and they'll be like, I have no leverage. Now is the perfect time to hold my franchise hostage and ask for a trade. Hasn't been uncommon in the last couple of years in the NBA, right? But these guys typically aren't in free agency anymore. So how mad am I really supposed? I'm just supposed we've been very patient, all right? All right, that's where I'm going with this. We've been very, very patient. And I don't know how true that is, because we've also been super fucking pissed off and vocal about how fucking annoying this has been for the entire time. For the last 5 years, we've been very vocal about how annoying it can be sometimes when the Pistons and every single other Detroit sports franchise is the exact same way in this, just being so like gun shy and not being able to, like, the Lions have been aggressive via trade in the draft, definitely, and that has worked and has paid dividends. The Pistons also have been active via trade when it comes to the NBA draft. That's how they ended up with Isaiah Stewart, and that's how they ended up with Sadiq Bey. That's how they ended up with Jaylen Brown. Right? So, like, okay, I guess that's kind of fun. But I'm just telling you, man, there has to be some point where it actually fucking happens. Now, what my change of heart on this whole thing has been is laying out what I just did is just to say, I think I just need to be team. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it because they never do. Even when they did the Blake trade, and that's why I said, well, you can't say the last 10 years because they did do the Blake trade. Yeah, but that was kind of out of nowhere. That was out of absolutely nowhere. Nobody knew that Blake Griffin was being shopped. That was not a thing that anybody was talking about. That was like OG, like Woj bomb shit. You know what I mean? Like it's easy for me to say that because it was like a thing that happened to the team that I root for. That was like Blake Griffin was 4 months removed from having his jersey fake retired by the Clippers as a fucking opera choir sung in the background in an empty Staples Center. You know what I mean? Like, that was their pitch to keep Blake around. He could have gone to Phoenix for $200 million, and he didn't. And he stayed with the Clippers. 4 months later, he's headed to Detroit for fucking Boban and Tobias Harris and like Bryce Johnson and a couple of first-round picks. And one of those first-round picks would end up turning into Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which would later turn into Paul George. Like, I'm just saying, like, the fucking domino effect of this trade, it was a massive trade, right? I mean, I guess in retrospect, you can look back and say maybe that trade was made because Tom Gores was at a point in his ownership timeline where he really, really, really wanted a good team and he really, really wanted to win, and he was not patient about it, and he put a gun to Stan Van Gundy's head, and he was like, hey man, like, I let you be the coach and I let you be the GM, and that was like maybe year 3, I think, of SVG, maybe 4, I don't think he was even here that long, maybe year 3, we'll say that. And he was like, you got to go fucking get a guy, man, and you got to do something, and this is your last dance for real, and you need to show me that you need a new contract, or you're allowed to be here for, you know, the last year on your contract. Again, however it actually played out. And he sort of did it out of necessity. SVG made the trade out of necessity, not because there was actually any goddamn rhyme or reason to. Blake did obviously, you know, go on to have the single best season I've ever seen from a Piston in my entire life. The next season, in 18-19. But yeah, man, I would love it if they actually did it, and I think I just need to say, nah, they're not going to do it. Like, obviously they're not going to do it because they never do it, even though the timing is, like, perfect. It makes complete sense for them to do it. Because I just think, and this has been my takeaway, I think, so far from the Pistons' first few games, if you want to, you know, actually talking about the games and not doing the trade thing anymore. Let's actually talk about the games. So they opened the season, and they were playing in Chicago. If they didn't stink for 2.5 quarters and go down by 23 points, the Pistons are 3-0 right now, but they played a terrible 2.5 quarter stretch, and they just got down by too much, and they clawed their way back into it and whatever. And then they played their second game against Houston. Now, what's crazy, I can pull this up, actually. I have this offhand. I took a picture of the broadcast when it was happening because I knew I wanted to talk about this. Look at me, being prepared. There's about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And the Pistons were without Isaiah Stewart and Ron Holland because they fouled out. Jaylen Brown got ejected. Ivy, Sasser, and Karis LeVert were all injured. So 7 rotation guys who were all out of the game. 3 of them were already hurt and weren't supposed to be in there. That's just sort of to embellish for the sake of the graphic. I get it. Got to juice it a little bit. And then 3 of those players, Duren, Holland, and Stewart, were either, they fouled out or were ejected. Yeah, Duren got tossed from the Houston game because, men kind of did some bullshit to Jaylen Brown, like going up for a rebound, and he like bear hugged him, and it was fucking whatever. Okay, he gets like teed up for that. And then I actually had to run downstairs. We were getting something delivered. I had to meet the delivery person downstairs. I came back up. Duren got fucking tossed. I had no idea what happened. I actually still haven't seen the clip, so I only read about it, but I guess on like the ensuing possession, like immediately after that whole sequence happens, and they kind of like get in each other's asses a little bit. Duren inadvertently, I have no idea, elbows a man, and they viewed it. They were like, oh, that was charged. There was some intent there, and they threw him out of the game. Okay, whatever. The refs in that game were fucking terrible. I'm watching a Pistons team. This is where I'm going with the whole thing, by the way. Being very, very wordy today. Such as that's supposed to be sort of what I fucking do on this show is to talk. So it's okay if you're wordy today, brother. I'm just feeling chatty today. Sorry, guys. I'll fucking tone it down on this fucking show where I'm supposed to talk for an hour and a half. No, man. The take here is I watch the Pistons in these really close games, and then the minute that they start to pull away in them, it's like, look, Cade's a big-time player, and he hits some big-time shots, and he has made a shit ton of money and will continue to make a shit ton of money because of how well he performs inside of the last, 2 minutes of a game. For sure. Maybe I'm being, super nitpicky, and what I'm talking about, isn't real and doesn't fucking matter, but it pisses me off, and it's something that I've identified. And this isn't just, through the first 3 games. This has been going on probably for the last year, honestly, since this team, this, general group of guys has, really been together and playing basketball. When there's, 6 minutes left, and the Pistons are up by 7, and, I don't know, you're in transition, create a scenario in your head where the Pistons have an open look at 3, and could have just completely, tilt the scale in this game, and the momentum is you're one shot away from really just taking the other team out of it. They missed those shots. You know what I mean? They missed those ones. And then the other team will go on a quick they'll get 4 points in 40 seconds, and fuck, now suddenly it's like a 4-point game. You're like, whoa, what, you're kind of out of it. And the Pistons are good at, clawing their way out of that. But it's those the knockout shots. I just don't think they're just not hitting those. They just don't have a guy for those. And that's not I hate saying that because then it sounds like I'm saying it about Cade. Dog, I think he can do anything. But he doesn't hit those shots. He doesn't. And I think what's nice is I don't want to say that they can go after a guy who doesn't rebound the ball. Jaren Jackson in this instance would be actually fucking sick just defensively. Could you imagine around the rim? Oh my God. Anyways, I don't know. How do I want to say this? What I really admire about this Pistons team, and this was evident in the game that they played against the Celtics the day that I'm taping this, absolutely destroyed Boston on the boards. And it did kind of click with me. I've just never thought about it this before. One way of looking at Moneyball in the NBA, if Moneyball in baseball is, hey, we just need guys who can get on base. It does not matter how they get on base as long as they do, and then those just sort of turn into runs, right, eventually. Is the equivalent of that in basketball, hey, if we just have a team who can rebound the shit out of the ball, eventually a disproportionate amount of those, I don't know how you would phrase this, are going to be offensive rebounds, right? And so you can have a team that by committee is mediumly inefficient, but as long as you're creating those second chances, you know what I mean? It's a numbers game. You're just going to score more. I think that's what happened against the Celtics today is the Pistons were just so damn good on the boards. And a lot of that had to do with Jaylen Brown. That's another thing, actually, I can pull up really quick here offhand. The day that Jaylen Brown had against the Celtics wasn't even just on the boards. 13 attempts at the line. Went 12 of 13. Finished the day, 24 points, 18 rebounds. 18 of them. Went to the line 13 times. And that's another story, man. Is if Jaylen Brown is going to be going to the line as much as he is on a day like today, which they were just hacking the shit out of him. But it's hard not to. He's just such a big dude. And there was also a stretch, by the way, I'm just kind of jumping all over the place. But there was also a stretch where I swear it's 4 straight minutes. Not 4 straight minutes, 4 straight possessions where the Pistons just went high pick and roll, lob to Duren. That was the entire offense. And he would either yam it or he would just get fouled and then he would just knock shit down at the free throw line. That's awesome. Love that. Because what is he on his career? I give or take 5%, 10% maybe, 65, 66, 7%. There's no way he's over 70% from the line for his career. That's not great. Don't love that. But I'm not going to be nitpicky about Jaylen Brown. You know what I mean? I just wish that there was a guy on this team that could deliver those knockout punches. And again, I don't want to say that, and it sounds like I'm saying that Cade can't do it because he can, but I don't know. And honestly, and this is another one of those damn instances where you're screaming at the radio right now. You're saying, Nick, Jaden Ivey's hurt. He'll be back next month. That's the guy you're talking about. That's what they say. That's what they say. If you forget about Jaden Ivey, they will remind you of him and his existence and what he is capable of doing and what I guess we've seen him do. I guess. Yeah. We'll see. Would love it if Karis LeVert would fucking play a game. Would also love that. Would love it. Duncan Robinson so far. I still think he's the only guy. You know, last year, maybe 2 years ago, very briefly, for like a month or two, I would do a segment on the show called Knicks Pistons. And I would put every Piston in like a tier list, and the tier list would, you would define where they are on like my personal shit list, right? So Cade obviously was in his own tier. I'm never going to be mad at him. He's the best. And then at the bottom of it, it was like, you should get shipped to Siberia or something like that. You know what I mean? We were doing one of those. I kind of stopped doing it because the team got good, and I was just like, I like these guys. I like these guys, and there wasn't like the only guy. I think there was also a tier called the Devin Booker tier, which was basically guys who are allowed to be in the trade, involved in the trade that we do to get Devin Booker. Jaden Ivey often found himself in that tier list. I don't know. I still can't do it because I just love this team so much. But, and there is a but, it's Duncan Robinson. I just don't know. Did play well against Houston and hit some shots. You talk about the knockout shots or the shots that you're right on the edge of like making this a run, you know, when you're down like 7 and you're like, well, 7's not enough, but you know, you're down like 12 and you're about to cut it to, this 3 would cut it to 4. You know, Duncan Robinson did a good job of hitting those shots in the Houston game. And for a game that, as we documented, was just everybody fucking fouling out of the game or getting thrown out for, you know, whatever. Duncan Robinson stayed available. And that is great. In a lot of ways, I wouldn't want to say with a guy like him, that's all you can ask for. No, you, brother, need to hit your fucking shots is what you need to do. In the Houston game, to his credit, he did do that. So that's just one of those games. Okay. All right. Because again, I don't need to be mad about him. If he stinks, his contract is written in such a way that we can burn it up, and it doesn't matter. If he stinks, it literally will not matter at all. Who else on the team that I'm liking this year? Who's the not the new kid, but well, he is new, I think. Jenkins, he's been playing because there's no Sasser, there's no Jaden Ivey. We just got a bunch of injuries right now. Yeah, he's been really fun. Paul Reed also massive game against Houston after Duren got tossed and then Stu fouled out of the game and we just needed bodies. And Paul Reed, basketball Paul, as they call him, was outstanding against the Rockets. I'm loving this team. I'm really loving him. Asar's been a freak this year. Him and his damn brother. Just the athletes that they are. And watching those two. Now, Asar did, unquestionably have the better game between he and his brother against it. It's just crazy when you think about them. Like, what's the take here? I don't know if there's one, but I'm just going to I'll say something, and we'll see if there's a take in here. I was just thinking about, like, the Morris twins and how those dudes just genetically were hoopers. Like, they hooped, you know, bucket getters. But the Thompson twins are more genetic specimens, genetically engineered specimens. Like they're just so I don't want to say like, man, their purpose is just so much bigger than basketball. It might be, I don't know, but I'm just saying like what they do isn't just like, oh, you guys are bucket getters. Like no, these are like in baseball, you would call this like a 5 tools guy, right? I just think that both of them do everything. They do everything. And I feel like I did this exact same spiel in the last episode. I'm just playing the hits today, I think. Or I've done this maybe just in the past. Sorry, I just don't want to repeat myself that often. I don't want to just sit here and just. So I'm sorry. Sometimes if I'm doing the same take, I'll catch myself as I'm saying it. Sometimes I don't need to get in my fucking head about this. You're on a roll. Just keep talking about the goddamn games. I think that's probably it. If they trade Stu, I'm going to be irate. He is the entire culture. He and Ron Holland are the entire culture of the team. Braid Cunningham. I guess I also don't want to forget that Braid Cunningham is a thing. He's back. Let's talk a little bit about the Celtics. What a weird team. The Jaylen Brown thing at the beginning of the show. Yeah, we said we're going to talk about that. Well, aside from his hair leaking out of his head onto OG Anunoby's shirt, I just can't believe, like, oh, they are just going to do the Jaylen Brown thing. Like, that this is just, he really is just going to be the guy who takes 25 shots a game. That's going to be the whole thing. Okay. This season, for real, is just going to be Jaylen Brown and friends. Derek White doesn't stink, like, at all. Why doesn't he get to... Look, I don't know. I didn't get to watch, to be fair. I didn't get to watch the Celtics-Knicks game that was on Prime. I didn't get to watch that one. Because the Pistons-Rockets game went on for 3 fucking hours. That game was on for 3 hours, bro. By the time it was done, the Lakers-Timberwolves game was in the damn second quarter. I was like, what the fuck? I missed a game. The Pistons and the Rockets, there was 8 minutes left in the third quarter. And the Celtics and the Knicks, a game that tipped off at the exact same time, by the way, was at 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. 8 minutes in the third and 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. For a game two games that tipped off at the exact same time. Which, by the way, is they were slated to tip off at the same time. But the NBA in its fucking racket, a game tips out, they say 7 o'clock. The game starts at 7. I'm looking at my goddamn watch, and it's 7:23. Let's tip this motherfucker off, brother. And then 3 hours goes by. 3 hours goes by. Thank God that we won that fucking game. Because I would have been... as an adult man, I don't know if this is something that happened because I'm a dad now. I don't know if this is a fatherhood thing. That I know what my priorities are. And I know what I don't have time for. All the time, I will just flat out turn a game off. The Lions-Chiefs game, I didn't care about that game at all. Because it was a travel day for us. I had stuff going on in my head. I was just like, I don't have time for this, bro. And I didn't care about that game at all. I'm at a point. If it's too late at night, the Thunder and the Rockets, opening night. The second it went to overtime, I said out loud, that's too bad. And I fucking turned it off and I went to bed. My son's waking up the last fucking week at this point at between 5 and 5:30 in the morning, which means I have to go to bed. I was already always trying to get in bed by like 9:30 because I know he's going to wake me up at 6. Now he's waking up even earlier. So the second it's like 8:30, I'm like, I got to start wrapping shit up, dude, you know? So when a game goes on for 3 fucking hours, crazy, man. Crazy. And it was game number 2 of the season, by the way. And I stood up for it. Stayed up for it. That's my fault. That's not me. I made a choice. It should also actually indicate how much I am loving this team this year, too. Also, just for the record. But let's steer this thing back in the direction of the Boston Celtics. They're just going to do the Jaylen Brown thing. Oh, okay. Okay. That could be fun. Maybe they're doing this as a way to... Is this like stealth shopping? And anytime the Celtics are in your team city, playing in an away arena, it's sort of like window shopping for Jaylen Brown. Who wants Jaylen Brown? Look, you're going to have the full the next 40 minutes to watch him play, and he's going to shoot that motherfucker. You know what I mean? He's going to shoot 30 times in this game. That's what he did against Detroit. I think there were maybe 3 guys in total who got double-digit shots in this game for the Celtics. It was Jaylen Brown with 25, Derek White had 18, Peyton Pritchard had 16, and Anthony Simons had 13, so it was 3 other guys. Oh, okay, so it's not actually that crazy. You had Jaylen Brown with 25 and 3 guys in the low to mid-teens. Who is this other kid, by the way? Who is this this kid for the Celtics? I guess I just could have looked at it. I just had it pulled up. He's number 8. I've never heard of him before. He's Jamaican, I think. Played ball at Memphis. I hope I never hear from this guy again. What an agitating guy to watch play basketball. I don't want to be like, he was good. He's really good. No, he's really annoying. Kind of gave me like a similar when like Simone Fontecchio lit Detroit up when he was playing for the Jazz, and then I was like, who the fuck is this guy? It had been years since a guy popped up in the NBA that I had no idea who he was. And then 3 months later, he was on the Pistons, and I was like, wait, no, this is sick because I don't know who this kid is, number 8 on the Celtics. This is definitely I think this has to just be a guy because it's the gap year Celtics. He just kind of like gets to be on the team. Like, that's why Luka Garza is playing so much. And okay. Derek White doesn't stink, by the way. I don't understand. Have I just been I'm missing the context of the first 2 games of the season where Derek White got to take 25 shots in a game? Maybe it'll work. Maybe the Celtics will be really good. They're 0-3 to start the year. They are 0-3 to start the year, to be fair. First time since 2013? Since 2013 that the Celtics are 0-3, starting the year 0-3. No Jason Tatum. But he's going to be back in like March? Wow. I wish so badly, was it 2 years ago now when Aaron Rodgers smoked his Achilles and it was like, I'm going to be back by December. Huh? And he was dead serious. You're going to tell me he wasn't? I swear he was. Well, hold on. Me saying that doesn't technically mean anything. Me believing that he was serious doesn't mean that I believe that he could have done it. I didn't say that. I said he believed it. I think he did. He was like, if the Jets are competitive, like, yeah, I'm going to come back. And then, like, it just so happened that, like, they had just, right when his window hit that he might come back, they had, like, just fallen out of, like, contention. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's too bad. I was going to play, too. Fuck. I wanted to play so bad, and I just ruptured my Achilles 3 months ago. But I have been hanging out with a shaman, and I've been taking a lot of ayahuasca, and I'm ready to quarterback the New York Jets. And he's at like the mothership in Austin, Texas. I don't know. Fucking lost it at the end. I was trying so desperately in fractions of seconds to figure out where is he? Where is he? And I couldn't. Where is he? Where's Aaron Rodgers in this bit? Where is he? It's Batman beating the shit out of a comedian until the comedian does a bit that Batman likes. Batman goes up to like, who would be like Gabriel Iglesias, and he's like, what would he say to Gabriel Iglesias? What would you say to Gabriel Iglesias? You'd be like, do a funny Mexican joke, like do a funny joke about Mexicans. You walk into you're a drunk guy and you stumble out of a bar, and Batman is you just hear you're like, what the fuck is that? You like walk into an alley and it's Batman. And what is he doing, Nick? He has Gabriel Iglesias pinned down, and he's like, say Fluffy. Do the Mexican jokes. I like the Mexican jokes. Or it's Jeff Dunham. Where's the puppet? This isn't a good Batman. If I'm going to do the Batman, I need to commit to the Batman. Where's the puppet? Where's the terrorist puppet? He's like, Bruce, I don't get. My name's not Bruce. I'm Batman. I'm not Bruce. I don't keep the puppet. I've run out of steam on this one. I got nothing else. I'm just trying to. I got nothing else. Let's do some emails, folks. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. Got one about the NBA on Prime and on NBC. And I got to tell you, it's kind of, not to get ahead of the email here, I got to tell you, there also has been a fun little, I don't know, wrinkle to the NBA season, that it's like, it's the same product, but it's like in a new coat of paint, honestly, is all that it is. You know, getting to watch these presentations, both, you just become so like used to the mechanics of how these broadcasts go. They're like, you know, not everybody's going to care about it, but it is kind of fun to sort of see it in the sport packaged in a new way. And I think a lot of people, this is where I'm going to start to get ahead of the email, so I don't want to do it. But I just wanted to say, I guess up top, to start this whole thing of the NBC and Prime broadcast of the NBA, is it has just sort of been like a new, like, fun thing to do. To like not do, but to experience. a fun wrinkle, I guess, is really the only way that you can. It's new. We're learning about how these broadcasts are. Let's just do the goddamn email. This one comes into us from y'all. Y'all, welcome back to the show, brother. I'm not gonna read the subject line because I can't read this. This is a threat. I can't read this. But this is an NBA on NBC and Prime email. Sorry about the lack of emails. Freshman year of college has been a blur of youthful whimsy and academic stress. I am watching Luka Doncic play perfect basketball against the T-Wolves, but more importantly, I've been capital L loving NBA on Prime presentation so far. Not only is the music sick, but D Wade and Candace have really good chemistry with a mix of good analysis and friendly banter. And halftime gets even better with Dirk and Blake Griffin breaking down Giannis's game with his improved mid-range, but also his focus on getting to the rim. It's spectacular to watch, and I'm happy with my purchase because I'm definitely watching this from my Prime account and not anything else. What are your opinions on the new commentators/pundits on Prime and NBC? Another NBA take, VJ Edgecombe is the truth, end quote. I got one take on VJ Edgecombe. I got one. Thank you for the email, brother. Here it is. Love him. Love him so far. Got to change that number, brother. That's not yours. You can't do that. No. Luka just made this shit cool. He just invented this. He just did this. You can't do it yet. I don't think you can do it yet. I think this is foul. This is foul. We can, if you want to throw the flag, we can do flagrant 2, flagrant 1. I don't know. Maybe it's just a common foul, and we correct this quietly. You can't wear 77. I don't think you can do that yet. 23. Yeah, man. That's just at this point. 23 is cool. There aren't that many numbers that I don't think you can. Like Shea didn't. What the fuck number? Shea's 2. Yeah. Sorry, in my head I was like, what is he fucking? Shea didn't invent 2. He didn't make 2 cool. Like, you could do this for Steph. But no, you couldn't. Because, like, the thing about the Luka number, see, now that I'm explaining this take too much, and it seems like I care way more about this than I fucking do. I was supposed to just fire this off quickly, but now I'm, like, really getting in the weeds with it. But I will just say this, because this is sort of the thing that I haven't said yet, and this is the main point, right? And then I'll move on, because I don't want to say that I don't care about this, then it sounds like I'm the guy who's like, no, really, I don't care about this, and then I fucking obviously do. I really don't care about this, but I'm talking about this more than I'm supposed to. Luka wearing 77 is like, no, that's your number, bro. You know what I mean? Gretzky wore 99. That's your number. Nobody else ever wears that fucking number. Luka wears 77. That's his number. It is very uniquely him. It is a number that otherwise people do not wear. It's too much of a hat tip. Take off the damn hat, VJ Edgecombe. Let's do the rest of the email, which was NBA on NBC and NBA on Prime. Dynamite. Already did this at the top. Dynamite. I want to say it again. Love it. I will say, though, Blake Griffin, Steve Nash, Dirk. Yeah. Pretty wooden, I would say. Pretty wooden. They got to kind of get their feet wet, maybe. I don't know. Dirk, like, doesn't really, like, I don't know. He's been on ESPN a couple times, but he doesn't really, like, do TV, Blake, yeah, I mean, he does, like, podcasts and, like, he does, like, appearances, but, like, he doesn't, like, do TV, People are going to be, oh, he's a stand-up comedian. Yeah, I mean, that's what they say. Steve Nash has he done TV? I mean, he did LeBron's podcast. Does that count as TV? I just think they're all kind of like, I don't know. They'll settle into it, but right now I just don't really. Udonis Haslem, that guy's done a lot of TV. For sure. I think that the thing that they did, this is getting a lot of attention too. They have like an LED court in the Amazon studio. And so like they were doing some like breakdown on the court, but like they're like being tracked on I don't know how to fucking explain this at all. The language is very simple, but it's just not coming to me at all. It's cool. They got cool. Basically, Amazon and NBC, they both do a good job of this. They have clearly invested in like the fuck, man. I can't find my words. I'm sorry. They're clearly investing in like, not, I don't want to say like delivering knowledge, because then I sound like the guy who's like, I'm in my garage in Beverly Hills and I eat knowledge for breakfast with my Lamborghini. I sound like fucking that guy. It's that guy Tayo Cruz. No, that's the Dynamite guy. The break your heart. Fuck, Nick. I'm not cutting this out. I gotta stick with this. I don't even remember what I was fucking talking about. Completely lost it. Come on, stay with it. Talking about the LED courts. You're talking about the LED courts. Shit! It's fine. It's fine. It's been fine. The actual broadcasters themselves, fine. They just got the TNT people, you know. The Olympics last year was fun. It was, I think, what was it? Iron Eagle for the basketball game specifically. So Iron Eagle, or was Noah Eagle, I think. Which one was it? And Dwayne Wade, dynamite. They were dynamite. It was fun because they had clearly been given the green light from NBC to like root for the United States. Clearly they were allowed to do that because it's so funny. This is maybe like a month ago at this point. I was watching the highlights to the gold medal game. Well, and to the Serbia game, which was at the semifinals, I think. I was just kind of like watching the tail end of their run because I just really wanted to relive it because it was so special. It really was. What they did in the Olympics last year. And it's so funny how blatantly obvious it is that Dwayne Wade is rooting for the United States. Like, yes, obviously he is. 75% of that team were like his fucking friends. Like, obviously he was. But you know what I mean? Like, just conventionally in a broadcast, you're not allowed to do that. The Olympics is kind of different, sort of a gray area. The Ryder Cup also gets kind of fun in that way, too. No, I don't know. It's just a Dwayne Wade. Yeah, he's good on TV. Candace Parker, she's good at everything. The NBC, we did a little bit of a spiel about, especially the Michael Jordan piece of the whole NBC broadcast, but they're really investing in just trying to teach you something, and like people talking about the game and the like real thoughtful analysis is something that they're clearly doing, which you have to admire that. You have to admire that there was a TV network who, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say listened to you, because then it's like, well, where's the bar? No, I don't know. Like, it would have been very easy for them to just like hire a bunch of like TikTok and like YouTube creators and just like do like fucking manosphere, like bullshit inside the NBA ripoff for, like, you know what I mean? Like, they could have just like made it stupid since it's a highlight league anyways, since it's a social media league anyways, which there could not have been a more on the nose post that was made by the NBA's social media teams than when just a couple of days ago, like over the weekend, they tweeted like the NBA on opening night had over 600 million, like, or billion maybe, I don't remember what the fucking number was, but they were like tracking how many social media like interactions they had with like all of their posts, like how much engagement they got. And like they just like tweeted about it, and it was like, I don't know that you should be saying that. I don't think that you want to be as transparent about I mean, the cat's out of the bag. The commissioner of the NBA was already like, it's a highlights league. I don't give a shit about any of this. I don't care. Watch it on TikTok. The sport's gay. I don't care. Like, whoa. He tried to walk it back. He tried to backpedal on it, and it just didn't really work. Oh, okay. They've been great though. Super refreshing. Maybe that's the word. Refreshing. It's just like watching a new thing, even though I already know, like, the games it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. But in my brain, it's different. The score bugs have been fun. They've been very fun. I like the one that NBC has. The one that Prime has isn't really. Oh yeah, I can kind of picture it. Yeah, it's fine. I did get to watch the Lakers. You were talking about the Lakers game that Luka went nuts against the Timberwolves. I was able to watch a good chunk of that. Maybe I watched the second quarter of it and then I went to bed. And then Luka got hurt. He has like a finger. He like broke his finger, and then he has like a leg contortion. He's a contortionist. His leg is a contortionist, so he's gonna be out for a little bit of time. Austin Reeves and DeAndre Ayton time. Get ready to learn Austin Reeves and DeAndre Ayton, Los Angeles Lakers. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description or wherever it is that you listen to this program. We got an email we got two emails from Lev, our 11-year-old correspondent. They were sent in back to back, and one of them is like asking or talking about power ranking water. Lev, I don't think we're gonna do that, brother. But I do think that the other email is good for educational purposes. And we maybe pass down some wisdom to the youth of not just our American borders, but beyond, internationally. Lev, welcome back to the show, brother. Subject line, the money problem, parenthetically, from a kid. Dear CH, there's a problem. Money is received for birthdays and chores, but it's not clear to do with it at all. Parents suggest saving it, but the meaning of that is unclear. Should the money be spent on candy and video games, or should it be kept in a piggy bank indefinitely? There's a new Lego set desired, but there's also a cool charity for puppies, and a decision must be made. Advice is needed with this difficult decision. By the way, Advice is needed with this difficult decision. By the way, Sam Merrill was the 60th pick in the 2020 draft, and Thon Maker was the 10th pick in the 2016 draft. Thank you for that, Lev. Thank you for that at the end. So Lev wants to let's do a little bit. I'm getting my Dave Ramsey bag. You what's your FICO score? Saving money. So funny and such a relatable how do I say this? It really took me back to hear Lev talk about, like, you get money as a kid and then you know that you have money and you're excited that you have money, but you don't know what to spend it on. I remember one day I went to like football practice and I had said to one of my coaches, I was like, yeah, I got like $20 and I really want to spend it, but I don't know what to spend it on. He was like, oh, it's burning a hole in your pocket. And I was like, what does that mean? I was very off put by the expression. I didn't know what it meant. And then he tried to persuade me to give him the $20. He's like, well, if you don't need it. I said, I didn't say I didn't need it. I said, I really wanted to spend it. He said, well, if you don't got nothing to spend it on, I know what I want to spend it on. I said, I'm fucking 8, bro. Can you relax a little bit? I was not good at saving money. I never did it. I was never really taught financial literacy. I didn't really know what a credit score was until I was like 23. I kind of knew, but I didn't really know because I never really had to know. And then I moved to California and I tried to get an apartment, and that sucked because I couldn't do that because I didn't have a credit score. Like, I was fucking 0, bro. I had no idea. And I just wasn't taught any of this. Like, my brother like figured it out for himself, and I'd never asked anybody because I never really had to figure it out. So I just didn't know. I financial like independence and shit like that. Like, no, I'm bad with money. Like, at this point I'm a lot better with it, but especially when I was younger, like I would get so confused. I was like, how do people like save up for like how do people pay rent? Like when I was working at Nike, I was like, my check was $218. That means for the next 2 weeks, I have $218 to spend. Like, what do you mean? But Lev, you're 11. You're a kid. And you don't need to worry about that serious stuff right now. Brother, if you want to donate your money to a charity for puppies, that is really, really kind of you. That is really generous of you. And if you have the means to do it, and that is where you want to spend it, do it. And maybe you'll get like I don't know, sometimes you give money to these foundations and they give you like a commemorative like blanket or something. I don't know. Maybe they give you a cool shirt. Maybe they'll shoot something out of a t-shirt cannon at you. I don't know. Give your money to a bunch of different charities and find out. Pick the ones that you like. Or if there's something, because like I would always get so focused, Lev, this is where I'm going with it. I would always get so focused on the short-term purchases, right? Like, okay, if there's a new Lego set, yeah, that's like a right now thing that you want. Could you also, though, wait and say, I don't have to buy this Lego set because Christmas or whatever you guys celebrate in December, right? The holidays are coming up. Why don't I just ask for it then, right? And then in the meantime, I can save my money. I don't know, bro. Do you have PS5? The whatever Xbox we're on? Do you got that? Or do you want a gaming PC? Like, just use that as that's just as a for instance, right? As a frame of reference. You know, just saving up for maybe something like that for a bigger purchase. Or you don't have to, I don't know. You don't have to. Listen, I'm the material guy. So I'm the guy who's I will be the one to encourage you to spend your money and to like buy something cool for yourself because you deserve cool things. And having cool things like feels cool, you know? But you also don't have to feel the pressure of like stuff, you know? You don't have to, how do you say it, man? Like, I don't know. Like, I also, as a kid, whenever my friends would get stuff, I would always just get like really, jealous, and I would be like, well, I want that too. And then, like, invariably, when I would not be able to have that thing, like, I wouldn't throw a fit or like fucking pout or anything, but I was always just like, man, I can't wait until one day I can have everything that I want. And then I experienced a very brief point in my life where I had the means to do pretty much whatever I wanted, until I very abruptly didn't, because of how often that happened. Right. And so, Lev, I think it's good that you're asking these questions. I think it's good that you are, as a young man, trying to learn more about financial literacy. Even though you asked, I know you're probably not. I'm taking this a lot more seriously than you posed the question as. But I didn't know about any of this. I didn't care. I was like, I got $20. That means I have $20. That doesn't mean I have 15 and I set 5 aside for later. No, because then later I'm going to be pissed that I only have 5. What do you mean? I could have 20 right now, and that means, oh, I'm going to lunch? Well, guess who has $20 for lunch? Not I have $10 for lunch and then $10 to do something after lunch, like get ice cream. No, I have $20 for lunch. That stuff just didn't click with me at all. And now, like, I don't know, especially now that I'm not the one who's like the breadwinner of our house. I'm especially more conscious of, like, as like Maddie, like, I'm a super materialistic guy, but I've never, like, I don't ask for stuff. Like, I want stuff all the time, like constantly I want stuff. But I know that it's either like I buy something, or like I ask her to buy that, to like, hey, can I buy this thing? Or like fucking, I mean, it's not as dire as like, then our kid doesn't get to eat, it's not like that. But it's like, well, but we also actually, now you pay a mortgage and you pay for all this insurance and you pay for like a fucking parking spot where you live. You got car insurance. They already say all that. I don't know. Priorities. Talk earlier about priorities. Things just kind of change. Suddenly you're like, I can't just stay awake until 11 o'clock at night watching a basketball game. It's November. It's not even November. It's October. I don't have time for this. Because then I'm going to pay for it tomorrow, And what's really going to happen in this game that is going to devastate me if I miss it? Probably nothing. In the most likely scenario, nothing. Anything short of somebody scoring 101 points or a bomb going off at half court, I'm going to be fine if I catch the highlights the next day, And it equally sucks when it blends into video games, when it bleeds over into video games, and you're like, well, it's 9 o'clock. That's it. Like, that's it. And sometimes it's important to show yourself the grace and say, fuck it. I'll be okay with being a little bit tired tomorrow, but I need an hour of me time, especially if you're like me and you have like an avoidant attachment style. Is that how you would use that phrase, avoidant? That me time is so important. In some ways, I view this show as me time. Like, I am separate from everything else happening. Like, my son is asleep and Maddie's doing fucking whatever in the house right now. Probably just like watching football. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is playing Green Bay right now. Great uniform matchup. As soon as the game kicked off, I came in here to tape, but great uniform matchup. I don't even remember where I was going with that. Oh, well, it's just important to do things that are, kind for yourself, Even if you do, and look, I'm framing all this like I got all this super busy life. Everybody's busy in their own way, and everybody's got their own problems. As corny as it always is, I've always liked the sort of expression, or however you would phrase it, like, you wouldn't trade your problems for somebody else's. Like, if you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, like, all that you would realize is like you've opened yourself up to so many different problems that you didn't know that you could experience, and that like you couldn't really conceive of going through, that you otherwise wouldn't realize that somebody's going through. And then suddenly you're like, maybe I would actually just rather deal with my own shit. You know what I mean? And again, it's always, I've always thought that was kind of corny, but it's, I don't want to say it makes me feel better. Well, I don't really give a shit either way, but yeah, it's a nice thing to hear. Spend your money on whatever you want, Lev. But Think about something meaningful to you. That would, and it could literally just be like a gaming PC, bro. You could save for anything. You could start saving for your first car, like now. What else do I got for you guys today, folks? I don't know. Halloween week here in Chicago. We did today. We had like a real like picket fence American Family Sunday here at the household in Chicago today. Woke up and by like 7 a.m, we were at the grocery store. Went to Mariano's and picked up some fresh donuts from the bakery. Fresh donuts from the bakery on a Sunday morning. That's like when you think of conceptually the American dream, to me it's that, and then you go home with your family and you eat these fresh donuts. There's an apple pie sitting out on a windowsill and maybe like a chipmunk or something who's kind of like rubbing his belly. I don't know. Maybe like whiffing the pheromones of this apple pie, something like that. We did the first part of it, right? And then the second part of this is, and then we put on our little matching, I don't want to say costumes, but our matching outfits, and we took Roman up to the north side of the city and did like a little like a street vendor, little trick-or-treating thing. Yeah. What did we go as? Well, this is kind of a long story. The short version is he was wearing a Manchester United full kit. And that was originally supposed to be Manchester City. And then the place that we went only had a jersey. They didn't have like the shorts and the socks. And we were like, okay, that might be fine. But the jersey was big. It was too big, but like kind of like cute, too big. Like he could have still worn it, but it was just like, okay. Because we could otherwise do a Manchester United, like full kit, the jersey, the shorts, and the socks, or Real Madrid. So it really just came down to picking one of those two. We were going to do Real Madrid, and then we were like, well, I don't know. Maddie has a United jersey. I have a United jersey. I was like, then we could all match. So we're like, okay, let's just do that. We wanted to do City because we wanted him to be Holland, basically, because he's like, we always call him our little Viking baby, and that's what. So he's literally Erling Haaland. So we wanted him to, do it for City. Oh, we did it for United instead. And so I made a joke. While we were checking out, I was like, it's okay. He can just be Wayne Rooney, right? Okay, perfect. He'd be Wayne Rooney. Dog, the three of us. We're walking down the street, and, all these parents, all these kids are walking around in costumes and stuff. And this dad, he, like, walks by us. He's like, oh, Manchester United. He's like Wayne Rooney. And I was like, that's what I fucking said. I was like, yeah, he's exactly like Wayne Rooney. It was a cool moment. I was like, that's exactly what he is. Thank you for acknowledging that. He is literally Wayne Rooney. So that was fun. We didn't actually, like, really do any candy with him. We mainly just kind of, like, walked around with him and, like, did, like, people watching and stuff like that. There was one woman who gave him 2 boxes of mac and cheese, and he was very excited about those. It was very hard to get them away from him, but we were able to do it, and that was kind of it. I didn't really watch that much NFL today. I watched a little bit of the Bears, but when I left, like, that was going fine, like mostly fine. By the end of it, I guess it did not really go so fine. Yeah, I really don't have any NFL notes for you guys. This season just hasn't really, especially it's the Lions bye week. So it was kind of my week to, like, our Sunday was completely open. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was kind of off from watching a lot of college football, but not even talk about the Michigan State game. There's no reason to. The worst program in college football. Brian Kelly got fired. Very funny. Everyone's getting fired. Everybody's getting fired in college football this year. People think Lane Kiffin might go to Florida. I'll be pretty pissed off if that happens. What else do I got for you guys? I don't know. That's probably it. That's probably about it. Spotify. What's the most you've ever saved up for something? You don't have to tell me the amount, but like the question is like, what's the thing that you've saved up the most for? Was it a car? Was it a house? Any other homeowners out there? Any other condominium owners out there? Was it maybe, I don't know, some of you guys maybe paid your way through school. Maybe it's just like a cool, like, personal item. Might be like a PS5 or something. Dude, getting a PS5 was so sick. I got mine like after like the first wave of people got them, and it was like, how the fuck did you get it? Like, nobody could get it. I got mine somewhere between like the second and the third wave of people getting it. So like not early, but like relatively. Most people I think were still pissed off that they couldn't get it by the time that I got it, which felt amazing. Thank you very much. It felt amazing. And then I didn't play it at all. I bought PS5 and was so fucking psyched about it, and then it then didn't really, because there just weren't any games. And I would argue that at this point there still just aren't many. Like there haven't been that many titles exclusive to the console that are like, you know, out of this world. Like Horizon was amazing, but even that at this point has been ported. So, you know, what's the most I ever saved up for something? I mean, anytime I ever bought something, it was because I already had the money. Like I'm telling you, that's never something that I've done, is like, when I bought my gaming PC that I'm using to like edit this show on, I just had the money for it. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't like a thing. I just like had it. And I don't like the way this is sounding like, girl, I just had the fucking money. Like it was fucking nothing. No. It's not like that. It's not like that. But, like even in the past, one time for Christmas, my brother and I bought Pistons tickets for our dad. Bought him really good seats to see the Cavs. This was February 2016. So a couple months later was when they won the finals. And I'm just trying to think, like when we bought those tickets, like I spent like $800 on those tickets, and I bought him a Cavs shirt. And so after all said and done, you know, service and fees and bullshit, is close to $1,000. I think that was like just 2 checks. I think that was just like, I didn't spend money for like one pay period, and then I just had like 2 checks from working at Nike, because like holiday pay and shit like that. And I think I basically spent all of that on, so even that I guess that would be it. So I saved for 2 weeks, because I didn't spend money for 2 weeks, so that I could spend every dime that I had on a Christmas present for my dad. Yeah. Alrighty, folks. Apple Podcasts. What's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.